first, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Nibbler. As always, we do appreciate you joining us. We are live streaming from the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom every weekday starting around 1 p.m. going throughout the afternoon. We're on our YouTube channel, we're at kptv.com or those Fox 12 Oregon apps, which are available on any device. So I do recommend downloading those so that we can keep up to date with everything that we are doing. Right now, though, we are going to be talking about Oregon business and industry and the coolest thing made in Oregon. What do you think it should be? What should get that title? Well, there is a competition that goes on, and it's down to 2 finalists for this voting. So you may have to pick between those 2, but nonetheless, there's a lot of amazing things happening with business and industry in Oregon. To talk about that, joining us right now, we have Angela Wilhelms, who is the president and CEO of Oregon Business and Industry. And Angela, thank you, very much for joining us here on Fox 12 Now. I always appreciate having everyone on here to talk about, especially what they're experts in, but I mean, talking about business in Oregon, something that affects everybody. And to give everybody, though, the basic idea here beforehand and some understanding in case they don't know, can you talk about Oregon Business and Industry and what exactly that is?
Yeah, OBI is a statewide nonprofit membership association, and we represent businesses of all types, from all industries, of all sizes, and from each of Oregon's 36 counties in state-level policy conversations. So we advocate on behalf of the private sector employers that help make this economy go.
So that is a lot of businesses right there. So it's pretty much everything in the state. I mean, every county, every size pretty much is represented.
Yeah, we're effectively the statewide chamber of commerce, but we also wear 2 industry-specific hats at OBI. We're the state of Oregon's affiliate for the National Association of Manufacturers and for the National Retail Federation. So yeah, we tend to be a voice in the middle of a lot of conversations when it comes to those broad-based economic issues or issues that affect businesses regardless of what they do.
Yeah, going between those 2 things, both governmental side and the private industry, that's a lot of conversations I would imagine that are being had there for a lot of things. Well, when we talk about business and industry, manufacturing, I guess to go to that first in the state, how are things looking right now as far as compared to maybe a couple of years ago?
Yeah, well, I'm glad you asked. They're not looking as good as they were, but I want to start with really emphasizing how important the manufacturing sector is to Oregon's economy. Manufacturers across the state employ more than 200,000 people, and manufacturing contributes more than $36 billion a year to Oregon's GDP. That's, I think, 14% of the state's GDP is wrapped up in manufacturing. And we make, as you know, and as we'll probably talk about in the coolest thing discussion, we make food products, we make electronics and high-tech devices, we make metals and advanced machining, we make wood products, we make a host of things in this state that are all pretty frankly great. And so we'd like to see policy and activity in the state of Oregon that allows those manufacturers to stay, to grow, and maybe to attract some new manufacturers to the state as well. Unfortunately, we've seen a decline in manufacturing jobs, and there's a lot of reasons for that, but we're still really bullish on the industry and its importance.
So that is, as you mentioned, a decline in manufacturing, but still a wide range, it sounds like, of manufacturing in a number of different industries across the state then.
Yeah.
So, and to that extent, that is part of what the coolest thing made in Oregon competition is, which it is all over the board as far as the products that were in that. To give everybody an idea of that, can you talk about what this competition is? And maybe before we even get to the finalists, like just an example or idea of what a broad range of different products it is that we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great competition. It's in its 2nd year. It's a bracket style competition. I won't say the entity that maybe we modeled it after because I think that's a trademark infringement, but it's
some kind of competition of some kind. Yeah,
that happens in the spring. The bracket ends up including 16 products, and it's hard to choose. We had almost 200 products nominated by people from across the state. We have a committee that sifts through and picks 16. They're randomly seated in a bracket against each other. And then the public can vote. So we are now, like you said, down to the finalists. But for the last month or so, the public's been voting on whether ice cream, Tillamook ice cream, or the Pendleton blanket, or the Portland Loo is another product. We've had diamond coated chainsaw chain, and hydrogen fuel cells, and wood pellet stoves, and just a beard oil, and vodka. I think there's like you said, a wide range, and we're down to from 16 to the 2 finalists. We encourage people to vote for either Epic Aircrafts. They've got an airplane, one of their GX planes. It's pretty cool. And then, of course, most people from Oregon know about the Leatherman Multitool. So those are your 2 finalists.
I would say probably a lot of people own the Leatherman Multitool as well, myself included. But yeah, so many great products, and getting down to these final 2. So tell me about these final 2. You have Epic, you've got Leatherman. What is it about those 2 products that you think has stood out so far when it comes to voters to make them the 2 finalists?
Oh man, that is hard. It is hard to know what people think about when they're thinking about the coolest thing. But I think they were close competitions. I'm not going to release the votes, but I will say the voting to get here was pretty close in each of the rounds. Leatherman, of course, is an iconic Oregon company, and it was started by a guy and his wife who were trying to solve the problem of needing to tinker and fix things along the route of a trip that they were taking many years ago, and they've turned that into a global company employing hundreds of people based right here in Portland. Then you've got Epic Aircraft and their E1000GX, which I can't fully explain the science and engineering that goes into building an airplane, but I've been on a tour of this facility. It's in Bend, out by the airport there. And it's pretty incredible the way they're manufacturing these planes, and they again, a global company that's born and grown and growing still right here in Oregon. So very different products, that's for sure. People have a choice in front of them.
Yeah, and that is something that, again, just to highlight that, and there we go, the classic Leatherman right there. Such a huge, completely different types of products, but still manufacturing jobs here in the state, and showing those different ways that people can, can bring jobs and have all of these things happening right here. So when it comes down to it, for this competition itself, and just to let everybody know, so the battle for the coolest thing made is either going to end up being, for this year, Leatherman Multitool or the Epic plane. And how is it that that's decided upon?
Well, people get to vote. Anybody gets to vote. So we encourage everyone to cast their vote here this week for the coolest thing. They can go to OregonBusinessIndustry.com. We've got it featured on our homepage. This is a partnership with Here is Oregon, so they can also go to the Here is Oregon website. And you could just Google coolest thing made in Oregon, and it'll get you to one of those 2 places. So cast your vote. And then we will announce the winner at our annual Vision Oregon event just next Wednesday. So we're zeroing in on it. So get your votes in today, that's for sure.
Nice. And one last thing, too, just for everyone out there, what do you think is the most important thing for the general public to know about Oregon manufacturing and how they can support it?
Yeah, I think it's important for people to remember how diverse and historic Oregon's manufacturing economy is. But what people probably don't realize is that manufacturing punches above its weight economically, meaning that manufacturing jobs close educational attainment gaps, wage gaps at all levels of educational attainment. For example, they pay far more than the median wage in any other sector or industry. And that's why manufacturing can contribute a higher percentage of GDP than it has a percentage of jobs. So people don't realize that manufacturing is innovative, it's about problem solving, and it really is economically important to the state.
All things
Buy Oregon.
Yeah.
That's what I can say, buy Oregon.
By Oregon. There's a list of some really good products out of all of those many businesses there on the website, and lots of things to check out. Well, Angela, thank you very much for joining us here to talk about this. And that is a difficult vote to make between those 2. So that's the challenge for everybody who's watching, who wants to be a part of that. But either way, great manufacturing jobs and companies there in Oregon, and really neat products too when it comes down to it. And thank you very much. And so once again, just to let everybody know, what's the best website to go to? I know you just said it, but I want to reiterate it.
Yeah, thank you. It's OregonBusinessIndustry.com. go there and cast your vote, and you can learn about a host of the other initiatives we've got going on in support of all the sectors of Oregon.